My Hero Academia is not really my favorite anime. The anime is good, but there are a lot of moments that had me wondering, why are we watching this? It has a good amount of episodes where you just don't really care, like seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, I mainly remember the big moments. Season 5, it feels like I wasn't even in my body when I was watching that. Season 6, 7, and 8, those were fire, those went hard, those were crazy. So despite some boring arcs in the show, it has some crazy highs, moments that had me brutally cum my pants while putting both hands in the air with a tear in my eye, and most of those scenes involve this man right here. All Might. The symbol of peace, the I am here guy, the number one hero, the lat spread demon, the pinnacle of strength. Even some of the biggest My Hero Academia haters can't be an All Might hater, because this guy, this man, is just him. Obviously, it helps that he's the strongest, and literally everyone in the show brings him up when they're talking about strength, both from the villain and hero sides. Talking about power without mentioning All Might is like going outside without wearing pants. No human being in their right mind would ever do that. But even without his powers, even without One for All when he looks like a local homeless crackhead, he is still super cool. The guy just has insane aura. When things get hard, he gets harder. His fight scenes and his presence are just cinema. All Might appeared in the very first episode of the show as the GOAT. He saves Deku from the green goo, he pops out the sewer and evaporates the sewer jizz. He jumps away, but Deku grabs on him and he finds out that his GOAT is dying. All Might suffered permanent damage from his fight against One for All. He got a couple organs destroyed, his whole stomach is missing, and I'm no doctor, but I think that's some bad shit right there. Surgeries aren't helping, his health, his powers, everything's declining, it's all going downhill from here. So then shit happens, Deku begins his training arc to inherit One for All, he works hard, lifting weights, edging while taking his test, no time being wasted here. Also, his mom gained weight from stress eating after breaking the news to him that he's gonna be a below average Joe. I think that's a pretty nice change in her character design, it seems pretty realistic. Also, she is just so cute in this form. So then for the final step, Deku has to eat All Might's hair. Quite a bizarre task, I have to say. Almost as bizarre as JoJo's Adventure, the sponsor of today's video. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit, the first globally released mobile JoJo RPG, is now available. If you've ever wanted to put all your favorite JoJo characters on the same team, now you can, because the game allows you to create your own dream team using iconic characters all the way from parts 1 through 6. And there's also a variety of gameplay content you can dive into, upgrade your characters, and customize your lineup. And as you can see, the game also nicely captures the anime's visual style. And it also includes iconic scenes, signature poses, character interactions, and obviously, battles featuring Stan abilities. And to celebrate the launch, SSR Jotaro Special Summon event is now available. There is a special character story event where you get to follow his journey throughout Stardust Crusaders. Participate in special events to earn exclusive rewards, and just logging in also gives you valuable rewards. So if you're a JoJo guy, be sure to check out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit, available now on both the App Store and Google Play. Very nice, cool things. The music is also a banger, to be honest. It's the one that's playing right now. JoJo! Thank you, JoJo, and back to the video. So then he attended the UA High School. He meets new people, training, Mount Lady makes my wiener tingle. Then one day, during one of their classes, the Mickey Mouse League pulls up. They're dog shit. These guys are pretty ass to call themselves the League of Villains. Except, they have a Nomu. And that guy is pretty goddamn busted. He's pretty broken. So Aizawa is holding it down for a bit, but then straight up gets snapped like a twig. And honestly, watching this back, I'm surprised he didn't die here. His arms turned to spaghetti, his face made contact with the ground many more times than he would have liked. His arms also crumbling. But then, All Might pulls up, and he looks pissed, no smile on his face. The villains are all pissing their pants. He comes in, he saves Aizawa and the other students, and he starts fighting the Nomu. And this fight right here, this is the one that really got me into the show. It made me want to continue watching it. I saw this, got up and said, give me more. We finally get to see All Might fight. First attack comes through, does fuck all. Second one, clean hit to the body. The Nomu doesn't even know it's being punched. Immediately, we're fucked. Season 1, 12 episodes in, and the strongest hero is doing nothing to this big, jacked bird. And that's because its quirk is shock absorption. The guy was built to counter All Might. And I was worried. I was watching this and I was like, what the fuck do you mean they can just build a fat ass bird to counter our strongest hero? Are we all just fucked? So he goes for a suplex. Massive destruction. The smoke fades. And that also did not work. They open a portal allowing Nomu to come out the other side and get a juicy counter. Luckily, Shoto comes in, freezes the Nomu so All Might's able to escape from its deadly grip. But then the Nomu also frees itself by completely ditching both its arm and leg. And that's no problem for it because this thing also has super regeneration. And then it immediately charges towards Bakugo to get its friend back. And this thing is also moving turbo fast. Bakugo damn near got one tap like a mosquito. If All Might couldn't make it in time and get him out of there, he would have been fucking Bakugan. The situation's about as fucked as it can be. All Might's injured, his stats are declining, he gave his power to Deku, he ate a fat hit, and he also has to go against his counter that can regenerate, and the thing can match him. But just when it seems like all hope is lost, he says, alright, let me lock in. The man barely has a minute left in this form. But then, Yusei Run slowly creeps in, and the fucking stars start coming in, and he says, I don't have a lot of time left, but still, I must defeat him, because I am the symbol of peace. And it's peak. It's a lot cooler when he says it with the music, but you just know that he's about to start tearing up ass unapologetically. He's about to show them what going beyond your limits means. He's about to show them what it means to go beyond plus fucking ultra. And it's peak. He just zooms in head on, goes in for a fist fight, just matching it blow for blow. This scene is so fucking cool, it's just like, you know what I mean? And Shigaraki thinks he lost his damn mind. That's not gonna work. So All Might says, your quirk is shock absorption, not shock nullification. So there must be a limit to how much you can take. If you're built to fight me at my 100%, I'll just go beyond that. That is badass. He is the GOAT. The symbol of peace will not lose. I'll just go beyond my limits to beat your ass. And that is exactly what he did. He did not lie on his resume. He said he's gonna do it, and he did it. Deku's watching this with his mouth open, eyes widened. His eyes couldn't believe what they were seeing. The Mona Lisa was being painted right in front of his eyes, and she came to life and gave him a kiss. He realized that All Might isn't just punching him, but every single hit that he's throwing out is more than 100% of his power. And he begins to overwhelm it. He blocks the punch, pushes it back, and lands on its head, foot on his chin, and the Nomu flies out like a skateboard. Then he quickly jumps up, grabs onto it, slams it back to the ground, lands in front of it, and he goes, you may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. And then he pulls out the Go Beyond Plus Ultra. He grabs the star and charges up his punch and throws out a fucking nuke straight to the body. His fist comes in contact with the Nomu, and it straight up explodes, and the Nomu cartoonishly flies out the exosphere. This scene is sick. First time watching it, I was geeked. Even now, I still get goosebumps watching it. And the English dub is fucking hard. It's actually great. It's definitely phrased a lot cooler than what the subtitles gave us, and it actually elevated the scene. This is one of those moments where the English dub is actually peak. The OST is a blessing. No matter how broken or overpowered the villains may seem, they are no match for the stars. That is by far the single most broken ult in the entire show. Once that screen pops up, it's an instant GG. Then the other heroes pull up to take care of the remaining villains, just in time because All Might's also running out of time. He's going back to his lanky form. Midnight is here to make this scene a whole lot peaker in many ways. Season 2, we get a pretty long sports festival. The students are just fighting each other. Deku's fight against Shoto was sick. Deku is his finger blasting him, snapping his own fingers, his arms falling apart, everything's breaking. And honestly, with how tenacious he was, I'm surprised he didn't take off the sneakers, get on his ass, and started toe blasting him, started flicking his toes at him. The animation is also really nice. It looks crazy. Then Stain gets introduced. He's pretty cool. They fight him. The fight was intense. He was getting ganked by two of the strongest Class A students. And Ida was there. He was paralyzed pretty early on into the fight, so he didn't really get the chance to run around, so he didn't get to do much. No, I'm lying. He did get a really good angle to kick him, with Deku flying in from the side at the same time, and they both hit him. And honestly, Stain has to be locked up for this heinous act he committed on this poor girl's face. Full-on, nasty, sloppy, slimy tongue going right across her cheek, and it even gets her hair and shit. Dear lord. She just threw up in her mouth. add this to his criminal charges. My prayers go out to this hero and her family. No human being should ever be treated this way. Now Season 3 gets hard, some banger fights into a legendary moment. Definitely one of the top 10 anime moments that'll bring a tear to your eye. Some might even say that this is just a top 10 moment in life. So the students go on their summer training camp, we see some pussies, and the villains rock up. Aizawa has to deal with some bullshit again. Thankfully this time, he has help. And for the foreplay before the main course, we get Deku versus Muscular, your average natty 16-year-old vegan on social media. This fight went fucking hard. First attack comes in, Deku's arm's completely broken, not the first time he has experienced this, nothing to worry about, and then he continues to get smacked around, until he said, "Screw you, I'm done messing around," and he goes all out, 100% output. Muscular sees his crazy fist flying at him and he said, "Hold on a minute, this kid might be onto something. I might die." Full power, Deku throws his entire body at him, bang, massive explosion. The guy gets back up, shitting pants a little. Now both his arms are broken, but he said, "Don't worry, I got this." He goes in one more time, 100%, broken arm, that guy's fighting back, and we get the sick ass scene of Deku, just one hand holding off this giant ball of fucking testosterone. He falls to the ground, but then he recalls All Might telling him how a hero can always break out of a tough spot. So he pushes him back and immediately pops his ult. The stars come in, he yells out a random large number, and he hits him with the Detroit Smash, and completely fucking obliterates the guy. Puts his fist straight in his cheeks and sends him flying, prime delivery his ass straight to his maker. This fight had me bricked. Anyway, that's not the focus of this video. Bakugo gets kidnapped. Also, shout out Deku for trying to come in and save him when both his arms are fucked. He's also flying in head first like he's gonna headbutt them. Luckily, they're able to track down where the villains took him, so they're gonna be able to kill two stones with one bird. The big leagues pull up, all the top heroes are here, they completely caught them with their pants down, surrounded them from all sides, they even got the police here. But of course, talking is inevitable. The number one rule when you finally catch the bad guys is the mandatory yap. And so then All For One started getting freaky. He walks out the dark looking all mysterious, blows everyone up that's holding Nomu, then he teleports everyone out of that room and swapped them out with a bunch of Nomu. He was feeling bad for the police department since they're all gathered here, might as well give them something to do. Very nice from him. Best Genius, thank the Lord he was locked in and saved everyone from exploding. I love Mount Lady, but what the fuck. The guy spoke from the dark in a very ominous tone and slow walked out of the shadows, and you're gonna go, calm down, he could just be a normal civilian. She might be a spy. Are we all just trolling? Anyway, unfortunately for Best Genius, he's also the only one conscious, so he tries to stop him. Things didn't really go too well, he gets his abdomen blown open. Meanwhile, Deku and friends are... shitting bricks would be an understatement. But luckily, All Might quickly flies in, and it begins. The legendary battle. All Might and All For One start going at it. All Might's obviously struggling, he also has to save Bakugo. Luckily, Deku and friends came up with a plan to save Bakugo themselves, so All Might can focus on his fight. Now this scene looks really cool. They made a huge ass ramp and flew over Bakugo and had him blast himself upwards into the sky to grab Kirishima's hand to escape from the villains who were trying to kidnap him again. It's nice, but it's also hella funny, because Bakugo also just fucking propelled himself far as hell to grab his hand. And they also needed his help to land safely. So these three are trying to come up with some big gargantuan brain plan to be helpful, only for it to be like a Leon Kennedy backflip. Bakugo could have just flown out of there by himself. But hey, the animation was really nice though, so I don't really mind it. Okay, so in the manga, he just flew straight up, so that makes a little more sense. But anyway, also shout out Mount Lady, she just face tanked the hit to help them escape. So most people are able to escape, and now All Might can just focus on fighting. So he instantly goes in with his left hand, bang! Give his master a brutal concussion. Then we get this dialogue. All For One's talking about how in the past, All Might's fists have crushed many of his comrades. They just couldn't get past this guy. No matter what they did, they can't overcome his thundercock strength. He was just this immovable object, an indestructible wall. No matter what happens, he will be there to put a cactus up their asses. So then he goes in with his right, this time making sure he grabs his mentor before his fist lands to avoid killing him. But All For One just blows him back with his wind stuff. Then All For One starts saying some villain shit like how he won't fight him head on and he'll use the people to his advantage. So All Might gets real pissed, he fucking hates this guy. So he goes back in even faster, grabs his left arm, lands a clean hit to his face, shatters his little goofy mask, and slams him straight to the ground. And he puts so much power behind that punch, he's beginning to deflate. He's reached his limit. But All For One just eats that. He tanks it, and he still has the energy to rage bait him. He begins shit-talking Nana Shimura, the GOAT. Now that is nasty behavior. Talking shit while you look like an uncircumcised penis with teeth is a little wild. So Torino tells him that he has to pull out some nasty, ratty maneuver to beat him. He can't just put his dick on the table and spread his slats and slap him around. He has to go beyond his limits. Then All For One goes for a fat attack, blasting some strong wind at him. All Might's gonna get his ass out of the way, but there's a civilian behind him. So he just stands there and blocks it for her. Big explosion happens, the smoke fades, and they see the real All Might, or like the weakened version of him. Everyone sees this. All For One's turning this into a little humiliation ritual for the GOAT. Well, not really little, it's pretty big. The whole world sees this. It's being broadcast live. The people, the students, the pandas, the bears, the sharks, the fish are all soiling themselves seeing this. But All Might says, I am still the symbol of peace, and I will beat your ass. Pretty hype. However, All For One pulls out the grandson plot twist, revealing that Shigaragi is Shimura's grandson. His jaw drops, and the world around him begins collapsing. He's getting dizzy, his ears are ringing, his vision's getting blurry. What's going on? His head's spinning. Where am I? Is this reality? It's all falling apart. So many things are happening. He's deflated, the world seeing this is getting rage baited by fucking Timu Dicklet. And he also has to save the anime baddie behind him. So everyone's giving the words of encouragement. You got this. If you can't, then who can? And despite all the terrible shit happening to him, he still tells the girl that's begging for help behind him that, of course, I will save you. That's the GOAT. And All Might clenches his fist and recalls his origin. Why he fights. Then the other heroes come in to escort the civilians. Endeavor also rocks up to save him, telling All Might to lock in. He spent his whole life working his ass off to surpass him. But the harder he got, the more he realized how much harder All Might was. This man was simply unreachable, so seeing him this weak kinda pissed him off, so he tells him to get up and beat his ass, show him why you're the number one. Stand up and show them why you're better! Tiger also gave out some inspiring words, telling him that everyone's rooting for him, and that no matter what he looks like, he is still the number one hero. Chills. However, All For One quickly releases a massive shockwave. It blows everyone away. He's trying to cancel out the motivational speech buff, but too late. The damage has been done. And he starts pulling out a bunch of bullshit, just saying words, because there is no way he remembers the names of all his quirks. Well, not even his quirks, he stole them. So his right arm turns into a giant chunk of terrifying shit. He comes in at full speed, full force. All Might clenches his ass, clenches his right fist, and just takes it. Hand-to-hand action. And it's bad. His arm's crumbling, blood spewing out of places it shouldn't be, and he's flying backwards. But he's able to plant his back foot and stop his momentum without blowing out his Achilles tendon. He's still able to stand his ground. And he lets go of his right arm to buff up the left. Man basically has no powers left, he has to juggle it around. So the right hand flies back, he barely dodges the punch that's coming at him like a fucking bullet train, damn near loses half his face. And with that bait, he's able to land a hit. But All For One is unfazed. His head wobbled a little, but that's about it. And he buffs up his other arm, talking about how that was a weak-ass hit. Who is this fraudulent All Might, utilizing these sneaky tricks? The real All Might would slap your booty cheeks and give you a little wink. So he thinks All Might is out of juice. That was his final hit. Until his left arm deflates, and he goes, that's because my back wasn't in that last punch. He lifts up his fucked up right hand, the music comes in, and I slightly came my pants when this happened. Also, the voice acting is just so good. All Might's voice actor is going plus ultra. It's fucking hard. I'm getting full body chills rewatching this. Also, the OST, it is beautiful. The ult comes in, the stars are back, Nana Shimura comes in with some dialogue talking about one for all. Then she pops up with the ball, saying that this power has been entrusted to many generations by many people, and it's now your turn to carry on their hopes. She passes the power to Toshinori. He full palm grabs that shit, his arm buffs back up, He slides his left foot forward, the music rises, it's intense, and then for a split moment, it slows down. The music drops, some shit explodes in the background so we get this sick ass shot, and then he unleashes a war cry while swinging his fist all the way from another planet, and the OST erupts at the exact same time, and it is just beautiful. My eyes get watery no matter how many times I watch it. And he goes, "Farewell, all for one." He's going full power, the hip twist, the way he set his foot down, this is every ounce of his power, and this shit looks great. It looks powerful. His fist connects, and he says the line, "United States of Smash." I would love to play the voice acting here, but the music will genuinely destroy my butthole in so many ways. He slams his face straight to the ground. The floor shatters. He spawns in a tornado with his fist. The helicopter damn near gets sucked into it. And the final line is just a nice, perfect cherry on the tip. "Sarabada. One for all." That line right there could make a tear run down anyone's legs. Even I'm getting inspired watching this. This scene is fucking sexy. This is peak. Even at a massive disadvantage, he just makes it happen. Full fist down his throat, forces him to shit it out, and shoves it back in his face. He is the GOAT. There are like a total of 6 punches thrown in this whole fight, and man did they make every single one of them count. Every hit was peak. Also, every time All Might's on screen, he looks crazy. The drawing on him is insane, it's nasty. And I read somewhere that All Might's voice actor fainted recording this scene. That is crazy. And All Might uses everything he has left to hit his victory pose. Everything settles down and we get this scene of him pointing at the camera saying, "Next it's your turn." People who don't know think it's a warning to the other criminals, but really what he means is he's done. His time is up and he's passing the torch to the next generation. It's peak. Now I have to say, why the fuck are they arresting All for One and putting him in prison? Surely they should take him away and secretly assassinate him, chop him up into tiny pieces and burn him to ashes. Or they can kill him and ship his body into space or something in case someone pulls some voodoo shit and revives him, like what that fucking Sonic villain Dr. Eggman looking dude did. We have to kill him. This guy almost took out your strongest hero, he's a worldwide threat, and his criminal record's longer than Greek mythology. Surely it gets to a point where we have to execute him. This guy has to go. This is the one thing I kinda dislike about this anime, not to sound like an edgelord, I want to see blood, people dying, yes. But it doesn't ruin the show, but it definitely annoys me a little. Like, it makes sense they don't kill villains because they're very traditional heroes, but fucking hell. All Might fought his heart out using everything he had just for this guy to come back. Exactly the same. And we just lost the #1 hero. Just gonna go in there and rip his oxygen mask off. And it's like, fuck that, kill this All for One guy. It's not like you're gonna put him in prison and all of a sudden he's gonna have a change of heart and he's gonna go around, start doing community service, gonna feed the homeless or anything. Just kill him. His quirk is also a fucking crime. That guy is stealing shit. But yeah, anyway, I mean, him surviving did lead to a much more intense final battle, so I guess, you know, it's whatever. Anyway, Deku did not deserve to get any of the special treatment, by the way, and don't misunderstand that face right here. That's not him struggling to get up. That's him trying not to get up. He's scared people are gonna see his boner. His acting here is pretty good though, I have to give it to him. It's like, no, I can't get up, like we don't know he's a freak. When Hatsume fell on him, he opened his eyes and they instantly locked on the prize. I know what you're thinking of. He's trying to ignore those milk shooters on his back. He's like, God save me, she has me pinned down, whatever should I do? Fuck you. But credit where credit is due, he did fight off the devil on his willy and decided he still wants to stay in the test and got out of there. Now that's what forges real heroes. So All Might's done, he's retired, this is it for him, and I'm pretty sure it just becomes a worried parent for the next 4 seasons. A bunch of cool things did happen between that though. Season 4 was sick, the whole overhaul thing. Night Eye was introduced, and Mirio, Lemillion was going crazy. A lot of hard moments from him as well, put a bit of tear in my eye. He was pounding ass cheeks with 2 sledgehammers. He was going crazy. Until they decided to fire a quirk-destroying bullet at Eri, but, of course, in a true hero fashion, he jumps in, blocks it for her, and loses his quirk. However, he still continues to fight, just raw dogging it with his fist, no quirk, no problem. He was annihilating them. They couldn't even show the actual video, otherwise it would be too graphic for most viewers, so they had to resort to slideshows, but unspeakable things were done. No, it was still really good though. He was also tanking a bunch of attacks to protect Eri. He is insane. Then Deku fights Overhaul, he turns into some weird fucked up creature, We finally see Deku go full cowl with Eri, constantly rewinding his injuries. It's nasty. The animation here was fucking crazy. Even if you haven't watched the show and you're just a fan of animation, like good animation, I'm sure you've seen this frames before somewhere. The animators went off. They were going plus ultra as well. They saw Deku going crazy and said it's time for us to also go crazy. Night Eye gets sent to the hospital. He recovers quite fast and well. He still has the heart rate of an elite athlete, even though he's on a hospital bed. Mirio Lemillion is in tears of happiness, seeing his mentor, realizing he's gonna recover just fine. Just so much joy and happiness, everyone couldn't help but start crying. Oh, and Endeavor did fight that Nomu. That fight was pretty fire as well. Not pretty, it was fire. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about it, had to rewatch it. It was... I'm bricked. Action-wise, this is probably better than All Might's fight. I think, for the first time in a long time, Endeavor might have actually surpassed him here. Like, this is actually insane things happening on the screen. I did not remember it going this hard at all, I'm gonna be honest. And the fight was hella intense too, and his plus ultra scene went fucking hard. That put the bone in my boner. Also, gotta commend him for his determination to actually surpass All Might when everyone else sees him and just immediately gives up. Pre the part where he decided to shoot out babies to surpass him, that got weird. He was drowning in the sauce a little. Well, not a little, he was fully in the sauce. He became the sauce for a couple years. He did have a big come to Jesus moment though. That was really nice. His whole family thing was really good. He realized he's a dick and he's the reason everything's falling apart, so he tries his best to become a better person. That was really nice. But anyway, this channel is only about surface level caveman fighting stuff and anime boobies, so I'm not gonna touch too much on it. Emotions? Not a fan of those. Season 5, things just happened. I'm gonna be honest, there was a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of episodes I couldn't really give a shit about. I did sit through the entire thing. It was slightly traumatic, so my brain kind of just automatically deleted all the memories I had of their team training thing. Okay, it was not really that bad, but it was also not good. It was just not fun. And it was long as fuck. So we get to see the Villain League go on their own little power-up arc. Shigaragi fought Redestro, a guy who looks a lot like this dude. And this is where he gets a massive power-up, if I recall correctly. Which he very much needed, because I swear he was ass cheeks. The League of Villains leader was just not him. He was not that guy. He could not compete with Deku, Bakugo, Shoto, and probably a good number of other heroes, to be honest. He just looked weak. He didn't look like a final boss villain. He didn't look like the League of Villains leader. He just looked like a villain. Or like a weird kid. So after this, he just skyrocketed to the moon. He became super broken. A little too fucking overpowered. He just straight up downloaded cheats. Anyway, Season 6, the Paranormal Liberation War arc went insane. Mirko went crazy. She came through the vents and just put the legs to work. She comes in, decapitates the first guy, front flips and crushes the second dude, flexes the hamstrings, God bless. She goes for a backflip and takes out the third one with ease, like a hot knife through a block of butter. And she spins around like a Beyblade, takes them all out, then she kicks down the door, busts Johnny's little brains out, fuck that little thing and its ugly ass boots. She went up against 5 high-end Nomus and was able to kill one of them. She squeezes its head and just rips that shit off. And she also sustained an ungodly number of injuries. It was painful watching this. Her arm got twisted off fully, she gets slashed across the side of her body, her right ear's gone, she gets her leg bitten off, she says fuck it, her hair also gets pulled off, but she continues to just run in after the doctor, and she gets stabbed through her right leg, she says fuck that as well, the skin comes off, but she's able to slam the capsule. But wait, you thought that was it? There's more. She gets stabbed again. Her left thigh, right hand, everything's gone. But despite all that, she still managed to break the system. Pretty good at shit. Actually nasty. I'm so glad she survived to the end of the story. Oh my lord. The other heroes are fighting this oddly sexy Nomu, and I always thought that was her buffing up her cheeks, but then I realized that those are her calves. Dr. Eggman gets hit with the DJ punch, but then Shigaraki gets back up, some electric shock shit walking back up. That face about explains everything. On a scale of 1 to fuck, we are at this level. Shit starts happening. He was nothing before. He was like a kid running around with a knife. He could do damage and kill someone, but you just gotta slap it out of his hand or like kick him. However, after waking up, he's now a fucking raid boss. He genuinely turned into Satan. He can blow up cities with his hands and break pretty much anything he touches. And now it's like, can we at least kill this guy? This guy just spawned in the devil. Anyway, while this is happening, there's also a big, long-ass fight at the villain headquarters, the Gunga Mountain Villa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But Seaman Toss comes in, tears down the whole building, it gets nasty in there. The other heroes pull up on Shigaragi, Dragon Mommy comes in, and Aizawa is there, and he is such an MVP. Shout out Crust. If Aizawa had died there, the world's going with him. Everything's falling apart. But despite him being here and erasing all his quirks, this Shigaragi guy is still just disgustingly broken. No quirks, no problem. He's just gonna flap his arms and start flying around. That's fair. Also, the guy's just so tanky, and he regenerates infinitely. Then Shigaragi throws out a delete around, Aizawa gets hit by it, but he's so locked in, his hand's right on his knife before it even hits him, and he immediately cuts off his leg to avoid losing his quirk. However, he did get his face ripped off, not exactly ideal. Then Deku goes crazy on him for a bit. Endeavor goes in, blows him up, but he just lives. All for One takes over, and Makia comes in, things get real messy, but they're able to escape. Also, it's crazy what they did to Midnight. She just dies off screen to some random villains after getting injured. That is fucked. The world's in shambles, and of course, Shigaragi breaks into the prison where they kept All for One, and that motherfucker is back. Definitely didn't see that coming. So then Deku goes on his little vigilante arc, Muscular Dude comes back, and he goes, "Oh, there you are, Midoriya, let's have a rematch. I'm tired of fighting all these small fries. Let's have a fun, exciting fight." He thinks there's some sort of rivalry between them. He thinks they're on the same level here. He came out of that prison a comedian. So Deku just beat his ass. He went in, gave him a back shot, didn't even have to sweat, and he punched straight through him. Then he runs into Lady Nagant, an absolute banger. She goes crazy and is hella cool. Now All Might, despite being a scrawny man, still follows Deku around trying to assist him. He's on his All Might Beal, and his presence is still unmatched. Two criminals ambush him. They set up a trap, and then they throw thunder spears at his windshield. But this man's moving like James Bond. He opens the door and jumps out the side of the car at top speed. So he comes face to face with the villains. Now even though these guys know that All Might is now just a regular citizen, his presence still made them shit their diapers. Aura. Then Star and Stripe happened. She pulled up to fight Shigaragi, and it's a crime what happened to her. She was cooking his ass, but then Shigaragi always has little things he can pull out, and he just keeps getting away with it. I am sick and tired of him. It's like the final fight against Sukuna. Little spoiler, but that guy just kept spamming binding vows to get away with shit, and I'm not saying they're ass pulls, but it's just kind of annoying. It's like, fuck you. Star uses a quirk on him, but he's having an identity crisis, so it doesn't work. Nice, lovely shit. So then seeing this, Star realized that this is a pretty bad situation to be in, and she decided to back up and regroup with the others in Japan. So then we get to the second war. Monoma clutched up big time. He opened up portals for the heroes to catch the villains with their pants down, and it's an all-out war. They're using everything they got. They even brought Crust back for this, who was looking at this war from heaven and said, they need more help. And so he rose back up from the dead. So the villains all get teleported to different places, they're being separated, but then Midoriya Izuku Deku completely trolls. He gets taken away to some remote island, and he spends the next 8 episodes trying to get back. It was mental torture. Watching this weekly was crazy, and our MVP is over here blushing while the world's ending on the other side. Genuinely ending. Everyone's fighting their hearts out, it's intense, everyone's using their trump cards now. Some people are already out of the fight because they got super injured, so now let's cut over to our protagonist and let's see what he's doing. He's flying over water, monologuing. "I can't believe they got me. I gotta make it back to UA as fast as possible. Everyone needs me. But this is as fast as I can go. This is all my fault." Luckily for the people here, Monoma comes in with Aizawa's quirk, and Mirako is also back, and she's going crazier than last time. And this time, Shigaragi can shapeshift. And it is not a quirk. That is just his physical body, like growing out hair or nails. Lovely. Oh, you thought you killed me? Well, no, I'm best friends with God and he brought me back. Bakugo goes crazy style on him until he stops going crazy and straight up fucking dies. But finally, after 8 weeks, Midoriya Izuku has arrived. And he starts beating his ass, giving him some mean body shots. Hiss, 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 hiss. And then some crazy things start happening on the screen. Yusei Run comes in, and it is such a goated ass OST, makes one run a full marathon. Then he pulls out the stars. This time it's even more intense. We get to see all the previous wielders clenching their fists. And then he fucking hits him really, really hard. Yes. But then Toka turns to twice, she floods in, Monoma can't erase his quirks, Shigaraki comes back to life, and they also start getting hacked. The coffin in the sky is about to be the coffin on the ground. Shigaraki is gonna touch everybody. The world's gonna break. Oh no. However, La Brava comes in with the counter hack and kicks out the hacker and finds his location. But the coffin is still falling. The people in the jets are freaking out. What do we do? How can we help here? And then they look down. What the fuck? Is that who I think it is? Gentle Criminal? He pulls up to the scene and he's bouncing on it, getting warmed up. He launches himself up and catches the falling chunk of land like an absolute madman. This scene went hard. The music and the little flashback between the sequence went insane. Chills. But Shigaraki can still touch the ground and he's gonna go for it. Bang. Oh, my fucking head. Lady Nagan from the other side of the world hits a clean shot at his hand. Honestly, it's impressive how every single character is doing something during the final fight, considering how big the cast is. Sure, some of them aren't doing the most important thing, but, you know, at least they're there. We haven't forgotten about them, which is really nice. Like Momo spawning in shit, there's a guy behind her cooking her food so she can make more things. We also have a bunch of people beating up the hacker. Lemillion's back, he went from beating ass to showing ass. And you know, it's just a bunch of cool things, like everyone has little things they have to do. Mushroom Girl, Kinoko Komori is there, Yui Kodai is making a lot of things big. Jiro and Tsukuyomi are fighting All for One. They came in from the top rope and blocked his attack to save Hawks. And sure, they almost died 3 times after, but she also did damage to him and gave Hawks an opening to break his helmet. And she actually did quite a lot here, to be honest. All for One's getting CC chained by the power of friendship, everyone's holding him down. Endeavor comes in and blows him up, forcing him to use his trump card. And he begins to rewind. So he's going back to his prime self. And he's not losing any quirks with it. I don't know why it's treated differently. But I saw some people speculating that maybe he could be using the anti-losing quirks quirk he hasn't used since his homeless era. So he's trying to get to Shigaraki and take over him and use him as a vessel. And since his body's rewinding to a baby, he's about to go back up his mother's vagina, he has to be quick. And at this moment, no one can stop him. He's about to enter the teleportation range, and no one's strong enough or in any condition to fight him. Endeavor's injured, and he's slightly busy. He's dealing with Dabi, who's about to blow up everything within a 5-kilometer radius. And if that guy can't make it, we might as well just cancel the entire plan. We might as well not fight him at all, because everyone else is just gonna go in and die for fun. Except for one man. All Might joins the voice chat. Chills went down my spine. This is like that scene in Endgame with the guy with wings, the sun guy, joined the voice comms and he went, "Cap, this is Sam, can you hear me?" On your left. It's getting peak. All Might gives them great comms, telling Ida and Shoto to go help Endeavor, and he tells them to not worry about All for One. "We still have someone very strong in the wings," he says. Ida says, "You got it." He puts on Girls Legend U and he gets into position and he starts moving. And he is going fast as fuck. He flies through the city with Todo, Roki on his back and he creates a jet with his eyes while he's at it. And so now it's All Might's turn. Scrawny man standing in the middle of an empty city. It's dark, it's raining, briefcase in hand. What can he do? He stands there menacingly as he watches All for One fly towards him. And he puts both hands up. Tsukashi in a panic says, "How are you gonna fight him? You have no quirk, you're quirkless." And we get a callback to the first episode when Deku asked him if someone without a quirk can also become a hero. And All for One immediately falls for the bait. And he knows that he's 100% going to make his way to him because After all, he is here. With a big fat fucking smile on his face. Now that is Aura. This guy is the GOAT. He doesn't even have powers, and he is still badass. Also, Endeavor survives. He was able to defeat Dabi with the power of family. All the Todoroki family members came together and combined forces to stop him from exploding and killing himself and killing Endeavor, and pretty much killing everyone else in a 5-kilometer radius. The power of family. Anyway, so All Might puts on the suit. It flies into his body, and we get to see Armored All Might. Shout out Melissa for the suit from the movie. Very nice. Really sick ass suit. And look at the volume cover of Armored All Might. This shit is fucking cinema. And he made sure to leave the mouth part wide open so he can rage bait him to his maximum potential. All for One sees this, and he knows All Might can't defeat him. He's just here to buy time. But then, he hears a little laugh. And immediately loses it. He knows it's rage bait, but for some reason, he's getting fucking pissed. So he goes in on him, All Might runs in, the music's going crazy. Laser comes in, he puts up a shield, he blocks it, and the shield's already down by 66%. But he still goes in, head first, and All for One is just losing his shit. He's like, "You're not that guy, buddy, without One for All, you're fucking nothing, you can't do that." So he gets caught, and All Might electrocutes him to slow down his regeneration. So the Armor Hercules uses a bunch of Class A students' quirks, and he also has extra components from the All Might mobile. He goes in and breaks his nose, and All Might starts saying shit really, whatever he can think of that'll make him mad. He just spits him out while kicking him around. And the whole thing's also being broadcasted live. He turned on the live stream and just started teabagging him. But then, All for One pulls it together and he pulls out a bunch of quirks and blows him away. He flies through every single building fucking imaginable, and honestly the fact that he's still together in one piece is insane. Melissa cooked up a crazy supersuit. Then All for One uses his forehead to eat his punch, and he unleashes more jizz on him, but All Might's balls are too heavy for him to be blown away, so he's able to stab him with a super acid injection. And this did a lot of damage. All for One starts turning purple, his body's getting all fried, so he unleashes a massive energy bomb of sort, and All Might is just smiling at this guy. He explodes, the screen goes white. We come back, All Might's flying through buildings, is in really bad shape, is really close to dying. His suit's crumbling, but then he notices that All for One's getting younger, and he realizes that the more damage he takes, the faster the rewind works. So this man starts laughing his ass off. And at this point, he's looking like a fucking scarecrow, but he is still going to continue fighting him. Then he pulls out everything in his arsenal, and he just keeps fucking laughing. He just can't stop laughing. I think Ankh might be losing it. It's too far past his bedtime, it's getting crazy out here, it's just going with the flow. Rage baiting might have gone a little too far. But now he realizes that if he goes on him head on, he'll die, so he flies away to buy more time. However, All for One hits him with a jump scare by poking his head through the wall, and All Might gets hit with a nasty punch to the body. The situation's bad, blood is spewing out of his mouth, but he's not done. He wraps his hand with his tail and sticks the ice cannon down his throat, and he sprays it all in his mouth. All for One has no choice but to swallow it, so his face turns to ice. And then, for the icing on the cake, he unleashes a laser beam straight to his face. All for One begins to feel a little unwell, he's not feeling exactly the greatest right now, he's on his A game. And the laser beam continues to go crazy, melting the buildings around it like butter. All for One's getting CC chained under it, and he tries to crawl underground. But All Might knows what he's doing, so he slams sound wave vibrations on top of it to stop him from escaping. But he survives long enough for the machine to overheat and explode. And All Might gets backhanded, he flies across the field, unable to move, his suit is completely wrecked. And All for One moves in for the kill, he's about to stab the GOAT. But as he's going for it, he gets stunned, he gets paralyzed. And you wouldn't fucking believe it. Stain, aka All Might's biggest fan, is here. He comes in with his glider like the Green Goblin and licks All for One's blood. Man was retracing their steps from the fight and digging through the rubble, trying to find his bloodstains. That is some goated shit. The situation lights back up. Stain and All Might are coming from both sides on All for One. They're about to sandwich him. Stain swings his sword. All Might's fist is flying at him. But All for One pulls out the classic, time slows down and the world goes silent right before the strikes are about to land, and it was in this moment it zooms into his face that I knew. We are fucked. Plain and simple, I've seen these games before. So he shoots blood out of his body and changes his blood type. And Stain gets grabbed, and All for One does not like this guy. He does not like him one bit. He bites his body with his hand, and he sends him flying through 20 buildings at least. And not only that, this guy immediately went after him. I saw this and I said, GG, he's dead. You know, flying through a couple buildings, that's pretty bad, but it's not the worst thing that could happen to you. You can just walk it off. Besides, they don't want to kill you by throwing you away most of the time. I thought he was just going to be badly injured. But All for One's going to make sure I thought wrong. So Stain is just lying there with his tongue out. The way he's dying here is just so funny. He's dying like a cartoon character pretending to be dead. He's lying flat on his back with his fucking tongue sticking out, and I can just imagine him having 2 X's for his eyes. But anyway, he realized that he's not built for this. This was not his fight. Then All for One just punches him to dust. The guy straight up got disintegrated. And he just made it here 4 minutes ago. If we're talking real actual fight time, no flashback, he was probably here for like 60 seconds tops. 40 seconds of those being him lying there dying. This is vile. He pulled up looking cool with the glider, is flying around, came in when it mattered most, only to explode immediately. All Might tried to save him, but he couldn't make it in time, and All for One blasted him with his laser. So now it's over. His suit's non-existent, he's laying on his own blood. However, he says job's not done. I gotta buy more time. And he still has a big smile on his face. All for One flies in, and All Might's the most dead alive man ever. So he gets picked up at the leg, and All for One makes his way to Deku. However, All Might still has one final trick up his sleeve. He still has a part of the armor on his arm, and he's going for the kamikaze. But All for One always has some shit, so he stabs his arm, and the explosion gets interrupted. And this guy also licked his blood to paralyze him. Are you fucking kidding me? That's like taxing a person with no income. The X-66s try to come in and salvage the situation, but instantly gets blown apart. The world is in a dire state, this man's on his knees praying, he knows they're gonna need a miracle for them to win this. And immediately, his prayer gets answered. A massive explosion goes off behind Deku. Bakugo comes back to life. The two look at each other, and Bakugo flies in, they both reach out their hands, and we get a crazy dap. The sound echoes across the world. The sound of hope. The animation team goes plus ultra. Deku spins him around and he sends him flying towards All Might. Bakugo starts ripping ass. He's going fast as hell. And he comes in like a fucking missile and saves All Might from being ripped apart. Also, it's really nice that Bakugo is the one who saves All Might because he blames himself for All Might's retirement. He said he ended All Might. But now he's saving him, so that's really cool. We also get to see these two kids from the movie, which is pretty cool. They're excited, they're here, they're cheering for Bakugo. But yeah, this is pretty much it for All Might. He is genuinely the GOAT. Became the symbol of peace, gave hope to the people, is the absolute ultimate benchmark for everything. Fought All for One multiple times. The strongest motherfucker beat him twice, but they just refused to kill him. One time, while he was so weakened, no one for all, can barely get jacked, barely any powers left, still won that fight. And the other time, he had 0 quirks, a lanky, normal guy, no power, going up against a young All for One. He pulled up to the fight wearing a fucking suit with a briefcase in hand like he's about to attend a board meeting. And he lived. Now he did get saved, but he was only saved because he inspired Bakugo to want to become like him, so he woke back up and flew in to save him, so technically he saved himself. This man has the craziest resume of all time. And it's now Bakugo's turn to finish the job. All for One tries to avoid fighting him, but he just catches up to him in an instant, full palm to the face, and he explodes the shit out of him. Now personally, I'm not really a fan of Bakugo, he's always shouting, it gets annoying. But here, he is fucking cool. He's not just shouting for the sake of shouting, he's shouting during the fight, like this is fine. Then All For One gets back up, he tries to escape, but Bakugo just turns into a speedster. Time stops, and he just throws himself at him at a crazy speed. Honestly, there are so many cool scenes of him in this fight. His tripping, spinning, and flipping all over the place. And here's also pretty good. We get a callback to when he asked if he's still able to catch up to Izuku. And then he says that right now, he feels like he can even surpass him. And he is so much more likable when he is not yelling. He flies out the side of the building, he's having a blast, he's having fun, and All For One's about to have a brain aneurysm. Then All For One gets incinerated, like that minor spelling mistake gif. This season is genuinely fucking amazing. Anything but training arcs, My Hero Academia is fun to watch. So he decides to use everything he has to transform himself into, like, whatever the fuck this is, and he plans to propel himself to Shigaraki. But it doesn't work out. Life's not sunshine and rainbows, buddy. Sorry, but you're not the main character. You're not him. You're just a cum stain in this world. So he gets blown up by Bakugo, and as he's losing, he goes, "No, no, this is my story." And Bakugo hits him with the most anime My Hero line ever. He grabs his face and he goes, "No." We get a bunch of scenes of the people who got him here, and he says, "This is our story." And he explodes him. It's a pretty cool scene, and the way it's animated looks a lot like the United States of Smash scene, so that's sick. And he sends that guy to his grave. All For One turns into this ugly ass baby, and he dies in a very pathetic way, so that's lovely to see. Then he hits the All Might pose, but lying down. Meanwhile, Deku's fighting Shigaraki, and things get real intense here, and thanks to Star's help, Shigaraki has a scar that they can take advantage of to take him out. And their plan is to throw in the previous wielders into the scar and destroy it. And personally, I'm just not the biggest fan of this kind of fight, where you're slowly losing your powers to damage the antagonist. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh, the enemy can suck my powers, so I'm gonna give you all my powers, and then it's gonna overload their body, and then they won't be able to handle it, and then they're gonna die. I just don't really like it. I just think the fight's not as fun as two characters at their peaks, just going at it non-stop hardcore style. Which is also why I just hate characters that steal powers. I think those are pretty lame. So Deku does his thing, he loses both his arms doing it, but luckily a bunch of portals open up, Aizawa and friends come in, and Eri broke off her horn so she can give it to Aizawa, and Aizawa can give it to Deku so he can heal his arms. A massive play from her, she's super sweet. And of course, it's My Hero Academia. It will be disgusting, insane, a crime to not have everyone here for the final scene. Deku has no powers left, only its embers remain, just like All Might. He puts on an All Might t-shirt, and that shirt's gonna do crazy numbers after this. Then everyone combines forces. They're doing everything in their power to get Deku to Shigaraki so he can land the final blow. You Say Run comes on, everyone starts cheering for him, and we get a full Ganbare montage, chills running down my spine. And when You Say Run starts playing, you can bet your life savings, both your balls, that it is going to be a peak-ass scene. And it is peak. Even though I think the last 3 seasons are the strongest, I feel like the reason it's good is because of all the long training arcs and side stories we had to see before that. So when someone appears for a big moment, or like when everyone's here cheering for him, it doesn't feel like, who the fuck invited this random guy? Like, we've seen these guys before, even though we might not get their full character story or anything, the fact that we see them pop up continuously makes it feel like they are actual people in the story. And that makes scenes like these so much better. It's like investing. Don't get me wrong, there were still ass to sit through though, but hey, at least the payout's pretty good. So Deku's getting carried, like physically, to Shigaraki, Tsuyu's here, with Choji and her family's also here. Deku's mom is obviously here, she's also running in, telling him, you got this. Ida comes in with the super speed to hold him up, and then he pushes him forward. And of course, Bakugo has to be the final person to help him, with the assistance of Todoroki's ramp. We have to make sure that everybody's contributing to this group project, you fucking hear me? Then Deku lands the final punch on him, and Shigaragi's Vistage comes out, and he also destroys All for One. They both hit him at the exact same time. A lot of cool things happening on the screen. And that is it. The show ends. The end of a 10-year-long series. Really beautiful. I think the final part of this fight is really fucking good. I like it. When everyone came in to help him, I know it's like the power of friendship or whatever, but it is My Hero Academia. So it doesn't feel weird or out of character for this show to be pulling something like this. And it does feel very dramatic, in a good way, because it's the final fight. Honestly, editing this video, since I've only yapped about the peak, really good moments, I'm starting to convince myself that this show is like a 10 out of 10. But then I remembered that there are also like 50 episodes of nothing and just a lot of training. But that's also just because it has such a big cast. But I have to say, despite that, a lot of the characters still had something to do, so that's nice. Anyway, thanks for the members, really appreciate it, and that's it, bye bye.